Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we're going to talk about yesterday and what didn't happen yesterday and why it didn't happen yesterday, but why it absolutely could have happened yesterday. Go ahead and tell you now, this is going to be one of those videos where I'm real vague in the beginning, but it'll all come together on this one. There may be some people who don't participate in social media and don't consume certain outlets who have no idea what I'm talking about at first, but it'll all come together. See, yesterday, large segments of this country were scared, terrified. You had a sitting member of Congress indicate that they were concerned about traveling yesterday, Friday the 13th. The reason they were scared, as the story goes, the leader of this organization that's very well known right now, it's in all the papers, it's based in Gaza, the leader of that organization, well, he called for a global day of blank. I'm not going to say the word. Americans in particular have come to associate it with attacks. It's not necessarily what it means. It starts with a J. But that was the story that went out from commentators, a couple of outlets, that the leader of that organization had called for a global day of struggle. A global day of struggle. And then this weird thing happened. While everybody was saying that there were going to be a bunch of attacks yesterday, there weren't any in the U.S., right? That's weird. That's weird. For somebody like that, the leader of that organization, to call for it and for it not to happen, that's odd. It's odd unless you know two really important things. First, he's not the leader of that organization. Not anymore. He was at one time. Now he's kind of like the foreign affairs PR person. And two, way more important, that's not what he called for. He didn't call for that. That phrase you see in quotes, find it in what he said. So, he put out a message, and there were some calls to action in it. And one of them, I'm not going to repeat. There were like 3 calls to action. One, I wouldn't repeat because it would be irresponsible to amplify that message. But that message was geographically limited to people in certain countries. None of them in the U.S. And then another was geographically limited to, I think he said, the Arab world, or the Arab and Islamic world. And then the only one that wasn't geographically limited was the call for relief, for aid. That was the global call that went out. So the message went out a couple days ago. Why didn't I put out this video yesterday? Because it still could have happened. Even though he didn't put out that call, it still could have happened because commentators and some outlets in this country said that he did. They reported that. If that message had gotten to somebody who was sympathetic, who was radical, who was waiting for a call, and who doesn't fact check, really bad things could have happened. And it was all in a quest for clicks, for engagement, ad revenue, fear-mongering. ad revenue. If you think the payout from Fox was big, I want you to imagine what it would be if you put out a call like that, attributed it to somebody who people might listen to, when they didn't, and then somebody acted on it. That wasn't the call that went out, but that's how it got reported. I'm going to suggest that reframing a call to make it worse and then broadcasting it everywhere, I'm going to suggest that's a really bad idea. Because if the wrong person hears it, they might act on it. The thing is, I don't even get it. I make 4 videos a day and still have to do a weekly recap. This world does not need more sensationalism. It doesn't need more bad things. There's plenty to talk about. There's plenty to cover. Even in just general practice, a message like that, a call to action, like the one that was reported, that's actually not something you're supposed to broadcast. That's not something you're supposed to put out and hold a megaphone to. Most people would not have heard about that. But it gave commentators in this country the opportunity to talk tough. My guess is that most of them knew that that's not really what he called for. It gave them that opportunity. But it also created the opportunity for somebody to hear that and to act on it when that wasn't the call that went out. That was a really bad move by a whole lot of people. If you have something that crosses your feed that appears to be a call to action where people would get hurt, don't share it. Don't share it, because you might be the person who puts it in front of somebody that would act on it. Don't engage with those posts. Spreading that message, especially, like, here's the thing, even if that was what he called for, broadcasting it the way that it was, that's still a bad move. People could have got hurt over social media clicks. Please remember that type of conflict, it's a PR campaign with violence. There were a lot of commentators and a lot of outlets that did the PR part for them. Not even for them. Eventually, something like this is going to be reframed. They're going to create a scare of the week. They're going to create some call to action, and somebody's going to pick up the phone. When that happens, the cost is not going to be measured in dollars. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.